Hey y'all, it's Talia Janae, and welcome back to the Licensed Chapter Podcast. Hey guys, welcome. I hope this is the best start of your week. I love that you guys have this get to start your day with me. I love that. It just makes me feel good about myself, and it gives y'all some nice tea to sit on and simmer with before you see me again on next Monday. But literally, I'm just gonna talk about my week so far and what I've been up to, what I've been up to the past couple of days, the thoughts I've been going through. I like having certain podcasts where I kind of just talk about the jumbled things in my brain and just put it into a podcast and talk about it because it's one of my favorite things to do. This episode's gonna be all over the place. I'm kind of just gonna be jumping from topic to topic because, guys, I've seen and heard and witnessed and thought about a lot in this past week. So I just want to come break it down for you guys and tell y'all where my head's been, where my thoughts have been, my opinions. You know, I have opinions. I'm a very opinionated person. My opinions will not change, but new opinions that I've formed, and new thoughts that I've formed, new perspectives that I've formed. And I'm just really excited to dive in. First, before we start in with our topics, I want to talk about some pop culture moments. I want to start doing a movie segment before I start. I really, really love movies. I feel like I talked about that in my first two episodes, but I adore movies. They're my favorite thing on the planet. Movies, TV shows. I love film. I love media. And hopefully one day I get to work in media. Like, I hope this podcast takes off and I get to work and do this kind of stuff every day. But I really, really want it to start adding that movie aspect. I want to start going to movies by myself. Like, I really want to start doing that and, taking advantage. And I really want to start doing that and talking about them because I love film so, 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 so much. So, yesterday, surprisingly, I went go see the new movie Backrooms, the A24 movie Backrooms with my friend John. And it was the opening night, and we went go see it, and I have a lot of thoughts. So, I want to start with that because it's kind of fresh on my brain. When I left the theater, I'm not gonna lie, I literally was like, what in the world did I just watch? Like, what did I just get myself into? That was a crazy experience. I've never watched something like that before. But now that I've marinated on it, slept on it, watched some TikToks on it, my opinion of the film has changed. I think when I left the movies, I was like, this movie is like a 5 out of 10. When I actually thought about it and realized, hold on, I actually appreciate this film. I think it's about a 7.5 out of 10, almost an 8. I think it, now that I have a new perspective on it, I think it's actually genius. And I want to talk about that because my whole perspective has changed. I will say Act 1 and Act 2 of the film were 100% better than Act 3. Act 1 and Act 2 had me jumping in my seat. Me and John were jumping in our seats. It was a crazy experience. And I was into it. I was really, really into it. And then Act 3, like, there's a part where the entity, you finally see the entity in the Act 3 of the film. I was like, what is this? Like, what is this? And I understood it a little bit, but I still was just like, what am I watching? And I still thought Act 3 was fine, but I think Act 1 and Act 2 were like 5 out of 5s. Act 3 was like a 3 out of 5 for me. I was like, what is going on? But now that I've thought about Act 3 a lot, I have thoughts. So, first, I want to talk about, I understand now. Like, okay, spoiler, if you haven't watched the movie, please fast forward. Sorry, I don't want to spoil it for you. But I understand now why the entity was Pirate Clark. Like, why it was Clark, but as the pirate form. I understand why that was him. I think, first of all, Clark's been in those freaking rooms for who knows how long. And we learn that Clark tells us that the rooms change all the time. Sometimes the furniture changes, everything changes. And he started to realize, especially at that dinner scene, that everything in there is just a recreation or a copy, keyword, a copy of everything in the real world. But it's image, but it can't get it perfect, so it's not an exact copy. Because that's why a lot of the people, quote unquote, in there they're like distorted a little bit, it's because the back rooms are copying them, but not giving a complete copy and not a perfect copy. And I think the movie talked a lot about who you were mentally. Like I think Clark had a lot going on, and we knew that Clark wasn't with his wife anymore and was separated from her. And at that dinner scene, we see that when the entity Pirate Clark comes in, or before he comes in, the woman in the back with the red hair is supposed to represent his wife, starts running. And I think it's because that version of Clark, when he's angry, especially when he did those when they would do the role playing, we saw how angry he would get. I think that's what Pirate Clark was representing, how angry Clark was, how resentful he was, how frustrated he really was with the situation with his wife. And I think that's what he represented. And that's why the clone or copy version of his wife started running. Because, I think the room takes your memories, and she started running because she was afraid of him. And I understand why, like, Pirate Clark was the entity. It starts making sense now. It's definitely made sense. And I got it now. You know what I mean? Um, I do think it was interesting towards the end when his therapist got out and she was speaking to the man, and he was like, we would used to make MRIs. An MRI machine copies layers of your body, so doctors can look at those layers and, do a diagnosis. Same thing the back rooms are doing. They're copying layers of your memories of you, the people who walk in that room. And I think the way it was, and now that I actually think of it from a perspective of a film and the writing of it, I think it was actually pretty genius. Now that I think about it, I think when you first leave, you're like, "What is going on? What did I just watch? I don't understand what I just experienced." But I think that's that's the thought you're supposed to have. I watched this TikTok, and it was like, I can't stand when people don't understand a movie and they think the movie's bad. True, that sucks because the movie is good. You just have to understand it and take a step back a little bit and really try to understand it. And once you understand it, you realize, oh, this movie is pretty good and really thought and really well thought out. You can see the therapist towards the end of the movie, her distorted version. Um, and we don't know what happens. It kind of ends on a cliffhanger, but I don't know. I kind of want everybody else to go watch it for themselves after my little spill. But I think I'm gonna give the movie, like I said, a 7.5 out of 8. No, a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. Um, it was insane. The jump scares were crazy. We were jumping in our seats. We were so scared. But it was not like scared. It was just like shocking. I was like, what's gonna come around the corner? I think they did great with waiting till the end to show the entity. I think all the other factors really tied in, and you really have to pay attention. It's definitely a movie you have to pay attention to because when I looked back at people reviewing the movie, I was like, oh yeah, duh, that makes sense. I caught on to a lot of things while I was watching it, but I was so confused and just like this movie's bizarre that I didn't really register. So give it a chance for sure. It was really well done now that I really think about it, and I think they did a really great job. So give it a chance. But I want to add these segments into it every time. But I want to add the movie, but I do want to make sure I'm adding movie segments before I start talking about my topic or whatever I'm going to talk about today because I love films. I want to start going more. I'm getting me a Cinemark membership, and your girl is about to go to the theaters all the freaking time by myself. I think at first I want to go see a lot of movies, but I always want to go see them with someone. And I realized, you know what? The older I get, the more I love my own company. So I was like, it's not weird or stupid if I go watch a movie by myself. So I'm definitely going to start doing that a lot more. Instead of waiting for other people, okay, I want to watch a movie, nobody wants to go watch it, I'll go watch it myself. So that's the mindset that I have. But it's a really good movie. Y'all should definitely go watch it. You will be confused, but I think it will bring it all together and you'll understand it. Now we're going to dive into my week. Okay, so it started with last Sunday. Um, I went to Bible study, and there was this question. Every time I go to Bible study, y'all, by the way, it feels like therapy. It feels like therapy because it's just like we're really getting into it. And like the topic that we're on could be so basic, but it goes into something so deeper, which is why I love going. It's just probably why I also probably should get a therapist because we talk about a lot there, and it's very helpful with not only my spiritual journey, but I also feel like my mental journey, and it also is helping me understand myself a lot more. Like even apart from my relationship with God, but just understanding me and how I think and like realizations that I've been having about myself. It's been crazy. It's been the best. But our Bible study leader, it's like a young adults group, but like the leader of it, the one who kind of facilitates it, drives conversations to certain places, he asked a really interesting question. And I haven't thought about this, but when he asked it, I was like, whoa. And he just asked us the simple question of, how is your life? Like, how is your life right now? Are you happy? Like, what do you feel about your life at this moment? And then he also tied it in with our faith. And when he asked that question, I was like, whoa. And I remember I said, I am probably the happiest I've ever been in my life. And I want to break that down a little bit because there are some layers to it. I personally am 23 years old. I'm turning 24 in like 17 days, which is crazy. I don't know if I'm the only one, but like I never, even though I knew I was gonna get older, I never saw myself at this age. Does that make sense? I feel like I always saw myself as like a 17-year-old, and I knew I was gonna get to 24, but I knew I was gonna get older, but I didn't know I was gonna get older. Does that make sense? Like it's crazy. But I'm turning 24 next month, or no, but I'm turning 24 in like 17 days, and I realized that I am the happiest I've ever been in my life. I think not only am I just very blessed and thankful for all the things God has given me, whether I appreciate them all the time or not, I know that I am, but truthfully, I am the happiest. I feel like this is the year I've laughed the most. I've had the most fun. Like in the past year, starting, I wanted, like, no, honestly, yeah, in the past year, I've been the most happy. This is probably one of the most happiest years of my life. I think it has a lot to do with the differences that I've made. I am a very, what's the word? Uh, I'm a very, even though I'm a very introverted person, I am bubbly, I'm loud, I talk my mind, I'm very energetic. That's very Talia to a T. But I love my alone time. I love being by myself. I cherish my alone time more than anything. It makes me the happiest, the most peaceful. I just feel like I can be myself with myself, but you should. But I really am just Talia when I'm just Talia, just me chilling. I love it. I love being by myself. I'd rather be by myself than like if it was if I had an option of living by myself for a month and never speaking to anybody, or living with all my friends for a month, I would probably choose living by myself. I love my alone time. And I discovered that a lot of reasons that had to do with me being so happy. This is probably also the most sociable I've ever been in my life in a long time. I did sports in high school. I cheered for a long time. That kind of makes you be very sociable. I also, again, was a very talkative child, teenager. I was very, I've always been talkative. There's probably not one person in my life. Like, if you ask anybody I've ever came in contact with in my life, old teachers, old coaches, old friends, old classmates that I probably wasn't even really truly friends with, but I just had classes with them. Anybody in your entire life would tell me Talia is very talkative and loud. I just am. That's just my personality, and I love it about myself. But I've never truly been this sociable. I've made more friends this year than I've ever had in my entire life. I feel like I'm a kid going into pre-K and I'm meeting all these new people. It's insane. And I also, what's crazy is with me meeting all these people and being more sociable, I don't like people. Isn't that crazy? I can't stand people. They get on my freaking nerves. I just, the people really just annoy me, which, duh. but I annoy people, but I just can't stand being around people either. I'd rather be by myself. What's crazy is I have that, but I'm also meeting all these new people. I'm very sociable. I'm traveling. I'm going places. I'm making new friends. I'm laughing all the freaking time. And that attributes to my happiness. And I didn't realize that until he asked that question. I'm the happiest I've ever been. The happiest. I love life. Love it. And, I've been on this journey of self love and self growth and self realization for so long that I never really stopped and was like, whoa, I actually love my life right now. I actually love the space that I'm in right now, and I'm excited for what has to come. I don't know what God has planned for me in these upcoming months. It's about to be 6 months out of the year. We got 6 months left, and I just know God has something whipping up for me. I feel it in my bones. I've always felt it. And that also attributes to it because I feel like I'm getting closer to God too, way closer than I've ever had in my entire life. I've been going to church for 14 weeks straight now. What is that? Almost 3 months straight, which is insanity. Like, and not being forced to do it, just doing it because I want to do that. I want to be there. It's insane. And my relationship with Christ is not anywhere near perfect. I'm still need to work on it every single day. But to be pursuing Him, because that's what I feel like I'm doing. I'm pursuing Him. It's a relationship. You have to pursue a relationship. And me also pursuing Him has also attributed to my happiness. I haven't been the most happy in my life. And when he asked that question, I really realized, like, whoa, I'm very happy. I smile more. I feel like, but, there's a but to that. And I told them this at Bible study. Even though I feel like this is the happiest I've been in my life, I also feel like this is the most anxious I've been in my life. Two completely different things, and to put them together is a little strange, but I am. Even though it's the most happy I've been, I've never been this more anxious in my life. And I think it also has to do with me pursuing a relationship with Christ. The thought of, I don't want to say religion because that's not it. It's just, for me, my relationship with Jesus has always been anxiety filled. Always. Like, I've never thought of it. I always think of it positively, but it's never just 100% positive. And that's just, maybe this is a conversation for another time, but I'll tap into it just a little bit. But like, it does make me very anxious. And like, after all of this, what's going to happen to me? Where will I end up? And that is something that I've been thinking about since I was a child, a literal child. I don't remember a day. I don't think a day goes by. No, I know a day doesn't go by that I don't think about what is going to happen to me after this when it comes with my relationship with Jesus. Am I on the right path? Am I doing the right thing? Is he happy with me? Is he proud of me? Like, what is it, Because I can feel secure in my relationship with Christ, but that doesn't mean he feels secure in it. And I think I'm always just like, I know I'm not perfect, and I know nobody's perfect, and I know I won't be perfect, but I feel like there's nothing I can do that could make, uh, ooh, I feel like there's really nothing I can do that can make him just like, or that can make me like secure my place. I don't know. It's crazy. That's a conversation for another time. But as I was saying, I'm the happiest I've been, but I'm the most anxious. And my relationship with Christ brings on a lot of my anxiety nowadays. I've talked about before in podcasts, like I used to be anxious. I used to get anxious in class. Like when people would say something to me, I would get anxious. And I had that period of time like junior year, but it's not even that kind of anxiety. It's like as of now, the only anxiety that I get is with when it comes to my relationship with Christ and when it comes to my future and where I want to be and how I'm going to get there. That's literally the only two things that give me anxiety. I've built up that connection and that strength within myself and how I view myself, and I love myself. I truly, truly, truly love myself, but I haven't fixed but I haven't come to terms. But those are the only two things. And I told him this. I said, that's probably the only thing I'm not confident in my life. And which is crazy how I could be the happiest, but still also the most anxious. And I think that just shows that we have so many layers to us, and nobody really knows what anybody's going through. And I always say, even though I love being alone, sometimes I do realize that it can be not a danger, 'cause that's so dramatic, but like a trigger for me sometimes because my brain really starts going of like, all right, Talia, what are the steps that we need to get to where I want to get to with my career and my life to get the frick out of Louisiana? Like, I need to start getting on that. And then it's also a part of me that's like, okay, how's my relationship with Christ? Am I reading my Bible enough? Does he love me? Am I worthy? Like, I go through all those anxieties, and it's just those two things that I'm anxious about. But besides those things, I'm happy. And what's crazy is even though I have so much anxiety around my relationship with Christ, I'm also happy with where it is now because it's never been at this level ever in my life. So I'm happy with it, but I'm also still anxious. I'm happy with my life right now, but I want to pursue the career that I really want to do. I want to get the heck out of Louisiana. So it's like such a like a 6, 7. I'm sorry, but it's such a like it's such a something like it contradicts each other, but it still makes sense if that makes sense. So, but yeah, that was a wild question, and it's sitting down a rabbit hole, and I've been thinking about it all week, which is good for you, Connor. That was a great question, but yeah, which is insane. But overall, this is the happiest I've ever been, and I love that for me. Honestly, I don't think I could have ever said that at any year of my life. Um, and I truly, 23 has been good to me, I have to say. It has been. And I know that 24 is going to be even better. I really feel it in me. I say this all the time, but I really know that God has a plan for me. And I feel like I've always felt that, like, He has His hands on me and He's going to really take care of me. And He's going to get me to where not only probably not 100% where I want to be, but where I need to be. And I know He's going to get me there. And I know I'm going to be happy and content with my life. Not content, but I know I'm going to be happy and really surprised by where He puts me in my life. But I'm going to love it and I'm going to enjoy it to the fullest. So I just know He has a plan for me and I know He's working. He has me in His mind, but I still get anxious a lot about it as well, but it's crazy. But that question was really, really, I don't think anybody's ever really asked me that. And it really did something to my brain chemistry. It really made me think a lot about it, and I loved that actually. So thank you, Connor, for that. I always feel like my life is about to change, and I feel like my life changed at 23. I thought my career was probably going to get started, which, I've taken steps, but nothing really crazy has happened. But I think a part of that has really been my relationship with Christ and building on. I didn't know that was going to be my part of my journey in 2026, but it has been, and I loved it. And I really, really do feel like my life is about to take a change and it's about to take a twist, a little stir up, a little something. And I'm excited for it and I'm ready for whatever God has to throw my way. You know what I mean? So I'm excited. Yeah, and I'm loving life right now and I'm really happy. But that Thursday, I've been doing a lot, y'all. I've been moving and grooving and just doing so many things. And what's so funny is that like me and my friends we talk about men, duh, we always talk about men. Like men are stupid, whatever. And but yeah, I think we talk about men a lot, and we always talk about how like we just feel like men don't pursue women and men don't chase women, and there's nothing and nothing and nothing. Like, and these men just give us nothing, and they are just boring. And a girl just wants to be yearned for, and a girl just wants to be wanted. Like that song by who is Malcolm Todd's sister, Aubrey. I don't know what her name is, but like her song's like "Sue Me, I Wanna Be Wanted." Like, yeah, girl, feel that. And I'm always someone where I feel like my person isn't here. I always say my person isn't in Louisiana. I just think I'm either going to be a wag, and delusions are welcome here sometimes. I'm a very truthful person, but delusions are welcome. I feel like I'm either going to be a wag, or I feel like my husband's like living on another continent and he'll meet me out here. He's gonna have this thick accent, and we're just gonna have beautiful babies. Like that's also where I think my life's gonna head it. But I think it's a serious topic, and I feel like a lot of women talk about not feeling pursued in a relationship because men want to be girls so bad. They want to be girls so bad. Even right now, just seeing them walk around in these sparkly shorts, sparkly shirts, it's like what? gave y'all the bedazzle machine. Like, what is going on? And me and my friend Vic have been saying it for years since I've met her. And now me and my friend John say it. Men are just gay. We think all men are a little fake and gay. And it's just like, bro, like, what is going on? And I feel like, something has really shifted. I don't know when, I don't know why, but something has shifted in society where women have become so masculine and men have become so feminine. And I know men get so upset nowadays when women talk about men nowadays and how they aren't the traditional man, but they want a traditional relationship so bad, but they don't walk around like a traditional man. It's crazy. It really blows my mind when men say that. Like, they want a traditional relationship, but they aren't traditional men. Because if you were a traditional man, you'd be providing for the household, you'd be at a job that makes money and providing for the household, and you don't do that. You don't do that. Let's be so real. A lot of men aren't doing that. So it's like y'all ask for traditional women, but y'all aren't traditional men. I want a traditional relationship, but you've never had a traditional relationship in your life. It blows my mind. And I've realized a lot that and like with talking with, my friends, like I've realized I don't want a quote unquote traditional relationship. There's aspects of a traditional relationship that I want, but I know I'm also not a traditional girl. I was born in Gen Z for a reason. I have a lot of Gen Z thoughts, and I don't want to be a traditional wife in the sense of I don't want to be a stay-at-home wife, like at all. And like, no, I'm not doing that. That seems like hell to me, honestly. If that's your life and that's what you want for yourself, babe, all by means. I support all women's rights and wrongs over here. Okay? But I I do not. And I do not want to be a stay-at-home mom. I want to have a job. I want to be working, and I want a man who has a creative job. So me and my friends get in this argument about like men's jobs and like what we prefer. And with living in Louisiana, a lot of men are, blue collar workers. They work in the plant, and that's their life, and that's the life they're going to stick with. They start in the plant young and they leave old. Like, that's just the life that they choose for themselves. And I think it's the culture here, and which is something I really really want to speak about in this episode, being that like the culture in southern states, I think, and in small towns. And I don't really live in a small town. It's a small town, but my town's very big, all right? And I'm like 20 minutes from the city. It's a big town. But in the suburbs, I guess, it's like this thing of just like staying here. And there's like stigma with Louisiana. It's like if you grow up in Louisiana, you die here, bro. That's just what happens. And for me, it's so the opposite of what I want for myself. It's absolutely insane. And when it comes to men, I prefer or would prefer a man with a job that's not in the plants. Now, I'm not here to crap on blue collar workers. Y'all are strong. Y'all deserve all the credit. Y'all are amazing. But for me, I feel like a lot of blue collar men, especially around my age, and especially young boys who go into blue collar jobs, there's really nothing else to it. That's just what they do. They stick with it and they die there, bro. And I can't stick with that mindset. I'm such a creative person. I want to be creative. I want to do something creative. I would love for my husband, my future boyfriend, my future husband, to be doing something creative. And I feel like when a lot of blue collar men, they have this mindset of, even if they want to, and I'm going to say this, and I will be making a general statement, and I don't care. Blue collar men, plant men that work in the plants hate it. They absolutely hate it. They all complain about it, but then they stay there. There's this thing in Louisiana that you get stuck, bro, and you seriously get stuck and you don't leave. You're scared of things that will make your life uncomfortable, and you're okay with being comfortable, and you stay in it. And I feel like a lot of blue collar men out here, they stay in the plants and they complain about it and they hate it, but they don't leave it because they're making good money. But it's like, I would rather be doing the job that people call risky, but I love, and I'm not making as much money, than be in a job that I absolutely hate and I'm miserable in, and make a bunch of money. I would rather the other life. To me, that is a more valuable life to me. And I feel like when you speak to a lot of these guys, especially with me dating, and I hear that a lot of these guys are working in the plant, I'm like, ugh, like, because I automatically think a negative. I do, because they don't think past the plan. They just think that's where I'm at, and I'm not going to do anything past it. And even if they do have dreams or aspirations of they wanting to pursue something, they don't, because they get so comfortable with the money they're making, but then they're miserable. I can't do it. I don't want that for myself, and that's fine. And me and my friends, we didn't get in arguments, but we get in conversations about it, and like like for example, me and my friend John, we have the same mindset of like, nah, like we don't really want men. Hey, I'm not afraid to say that. I have my own things that I like and I don't like. I There's just two type of men I won't date. I'm not saying anything crazy. For me, I personally, it's just my preference. Blue collar men aren't for me, and military men aren't for me. I have my reasons. Okay, they're just not for me. Whereas like our friend Tiana is more of just like, guys, no, no. We're like, no, girly pop. Like they really stay there and you get stuck. And I don't want to get stuck here. I don't want to build a life here. I don't want to build a family here. Like that's just not my vibe. And I feel like a lot of men get comfortable in that. And that's just not what I want for myself. And again, I'm not a traditional wife. And I'm not afraid to say that. I don't know why that's been like a trend nowadays. I'm not. I don't want to stay home and take care of the kids. I want a job. I wanna have my own money. I feel like a lot of people you get married and you have a joint bank account, which is fine, but I will be making my own money. I will have my own bank account. That is my money that I make. There will be a joint one, but I will be having my own money because I think it's very important for women to have things like to still have something for themselves. That's just what I feel like. I think it's very important for women to do that. I feel like you see a lot of women, their man really runs the household type of vibe and takes care of everything. And then if something bad happens and a divorce happens, they leave with nothing. They don't work. They don't have any money for themselves. Their money is their man's money. No, no, no. Now, this may be a crazy thing to say, but my money is my money and your money is my money. I don't know if that sounds crazy, but that's just how I feel. I'm also a woman at the end of the day, and I feel like as a man, it is your job to protect and to lead and to serve the relationship. And yes, I will be there emotionally, physically, mentally, because I'm a very deep person already. I have deep thoughts. I will be there in the relationship, and I'm not there for money. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But I think it's very important for women to have their own and to be their own person, guys, and to have their own thing. I'm not put on this planet just to have kids and raise our children. You've lost your mind. And I even said this to friends, like, I don't, and I think it kind of for a reason for my mind to think this way is just the family unit that I grew up in. Like both of my parents worked. My mom didn't sit at home and just clean the house and take care of the hedge and drop off the kids at cheer practice and pick them up. My mom worked. My mom worked, busted her butt and worked. So did my dad. Like it wasn't one person did this, one person did that. They both worked. I want a household where both of us work. I don't like that of like one person stays at home thing. If you think I'm gonna be the woman that's gonna be at home cooking dinner for you on the table when you come in, you're crazy. I'll cook dinner, but I'm also gonna be working. You are gonna be working, and we're gonna build that family unit on our own, and that's what we're gonna do. But I'm not into this traditional thing of women just taking care of households. Absolutely not. And gonna be I'm not gonna apologize for wanting a man that wants more for himself. I don't like average and I don't like average and I don't like mediocre. Sorry and sorry not sorry. I don't like average and I don't like mediocre. Sorry not sorry. That's just not the life I want for myself. And like I remember a friend Riley, we were at the gym and we were talking about like babies and like every time we open up a Facebook, everybody has kids and babies and houses of people that we grew up with, and it's just like, ugh. And I look at that and I don't envy it for a second. I don't envy it. You want to know why I don't envy it? Because I don't want that. I don't want to be 23, married with a kid. That's just not the life that I want. If you want that, I love that for you. But for me, that scares me. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I love all of you that are watching, but when I see y'all's Facebook posts of y'all getting engaged, or y'all buying a house, or y'all being pregnant, there's no envy over here. And my immediate thought is, like I'm scared. I get scared because that's just not what I want for myself. Like I just don't want that. I don't want to be a mom. Not at all. Not right now. I don't want to. I don't want to move in with no man at all right now. And I don't want to be engaged. I don't want to be married either. Like that's for a lot of women, and that's okay. For a lot of women, that is the life they want. Yes, I want that, but that's not the end all be all for me. I'm not rushing into that. I don't care to have it right now. I don't want it. I want to establish myself. I want to be successful in my own right. I want to get to the amount of success for me, for Talia Janae, okay? And then I want to meet someone who also has that level of not only just success, but drive, passion, creativity, and then we can both be these successful people and come together and build this beautiful union. That's what I see for myself. I don't see babies in my 5 year plan. I don't see being married in my 5 year plan or engaged. I want to be successful in my own right. I want to build a name for myself. I want to see how far I can get myself and call it selfish, but I don't care. Like that's being married is just not something. Having a ring on my left finger is not something that I've ever been like, ooh, I need to have this. It's cute, to sit and fantasize about a wedding, but I don't really care to do that. I don't care. I'm not even, I don't care. And I think, especially finding a man nowadays that wants to do that, it's hard, especially in Louisiana, bro. There's not a lot of thinkers like me here. And, I think that's something that I struggle with, which is probably why I haven't found anybody yet, because I want somebody with drive. I have drive. I'm trying to get somewhere that I want to get to, and I want someone who's going to do that as well. And I feel like a lot of these men out here are just gay, bro. They want to be treated like women. They want to be treated like princesses. They want to be a passenger princess. They're girly pops bopping around. I can't do it. It drives me crazy. And guess what? I love a man that loves the way he looks, that cares about the way he looks, that takes care of himself. I love that. Okay? I love a good looking dress. I love the swagged out man who looks good, smells good. I love that. Okay? I do. But like you also need to lead. You also need to lead. You need to take off the sparkly shorts and the sparkly shirt and get to it. Like I just feel like even though I'm not a traditionalist 100%, I am in the sense of I think a man is supposed to like I know I'm gonna have my own success, but at the end of the day I still would rather my man to be like I'm gonna make as much money as I want. Okay? Your girl's a go-getter. I'm gonna go for it. But I want someone who's a little bit above me in the way of just like or even on the same. That's fine. But I want someone who also has a little bit of that. Like he's just leading. I want someone to lead. I can't help it. I want someone to lead and 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 that's what I want. And I just feel like a lot of men, especially here in Louisiana, don't have that and they get stuck, bro. They get stuck. And for me, getting stuck here is scary. Building a family here in Louisiana for me, is terrifying. That's a nightmare. That's a nightmare. Being pregnant is a nightmare. Okay? I don't want to do it. Not anytime soon. I have dreams and aspirations that I want to hit before that. And I will be selfish and say that. And I'm okay with it. But I just feel like the men these days, the options are so limited. None of them impress me. None of them. I don't think I've ever been impressed by a man. Like I know what I'm looking for, and they're just not here. And and I just feel like at the end of it all, and like I feel like one of my guy friends, like he'll call me like really picky or like Talia, you're all over. No, I'm not. I just know what I want, and I'm not gonna put up or just date someone to date someone. I'm just not going to do that. I have standards, and until I meet someone who meets those standards, and guess what? I'll grow with someone. That's fine. I'm not saying that person already has to be at the finish line, but can we see the finish line from where we're standing? Can we, can we, get some things, get the ball rolling? Are we still on the path to the finish line? Like, that's what I want, and I think that's okay to want that. And I think don't make people make you feel like you're crazy for having standards with men, because men need to shut up, bro. Literally, men just need to shut up. Look at the state of the politics right now because of men, bro. They need to stop talking all the freaking time. It's exhausting. Like I that's what I want for myself, and I see that for myself, and I will take nothing less. Okay? Um, and that's that, babe. That's freaking that. And like I think that comes to say with like I remember my friend, love you so much, girly pop, but she did tell me she was like, you need to be nicer. Nicer to a man. Doing that. I'm not doing that. There's nothing I can say that should offend you that much, bro. And I'm not mean at all, but like, I'm not about to sit here and be nice for a date. That's bonkers. I'm not about to sit here and nice and stroke your ego so you can take me out. I can care less to be taken out, bro. The date that you're trying to take me on is me and my girls on a Tuesday, bro. Like you are offering me really nothing. Like I'm just not that kind of girl. I've never been a boy crazy person either. I talk about men on my podcast because I'm a 24-year-old woman trying to date in this society. So yeah, I talk about them, but I've never been boy crazy. I've never really needed a boyfriend. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to do anything or be nice to them to get a date. Like that's crazy to me. And when she said that to me, I was like, girl, please. Girl, please. That won't be me. That'll never be me. Okay? That was crazy. Love you so much, girl, but that was crazy. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, that's insane. Yeah, I think and when I hear women, and when, like, I spoke to Riley and she said that, it is refreshing to me. Even with John, even with my friend, like, there's so many friends that it is refreshing to me when I meet women my age, or even younger than me, or even older than me, that are like, my girl, yeah, I would love to be married. I'd love to have kids one day, but not right now. I'm focusing on myself. That is so refreshing to me. I love hearing women say that because that's just not where I am. And I love meeting and talking to women that like have the same reaction as me. This makes me feel so good. I love it. I love that because it's like, yes, girl, like there's so much more to live for than just that. Like, please be so for real. Ugh. Yeah. I low-key just went on a tangent. I was all over the place a little bit, but I think those are just things that I've been thinking about so hard about. And I think that's natural, especially at a young woman. So I don't know. I kind of just spewed a little bit. I think it was worth it. But let's move on to our reality recap because y'all, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. It's the Summer House reunion part one. And we're just going to dive right on into it. We're not saving anything. We're going to go right into the ham and cheese of this, which is the situation between Amanda, Sierra, Wes, and Kyle. First of all, the audacity of Amanda to have that much gall in her voice for Sierra was crazy. She was on one from the minute the show started. I don't understand how you can affect someone else and you have this much defensiveness attitude. Like, who do you think you are to be talking the way you are, to be moving the way you're moving? Like, who do you think you are? And for her to be talking to Sierra how she was crazy. Telling Sierra to F off. Girl, have we lost it? Like her behavior and her attitude is so cold, and I can't stand it. And I'm so happy for Sierra. Sierra stood on her ground. She stood on business. She was not going to sit there and have these two fools play her at all. Sierra said one of the most iconic lines that will be quoted for the rest of Bravo history when she said, "Might as well get into it before I put them in the ground and cover them with dirt." Bars, 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 bars. She was killing it over and over and over again with the comebacks because you're not going to sit here and come at me this way when I'm the one you hurt. And I'm so happy she was like, I'm more hurt about Amanda. And I'm so happy she said that because people were like, she's picking on Amanda. It's always the woman. We're always picking on the woman. No, it's because as women, we trust each other and then we turn our backs and stab each other in the back. That's crazy. That's the crazy part. Men, we expect men to hurt us. We hope they don't, but we're not surprised when they do. You know what I mean? When a girl that you thought was a true girl's girl, a true friend, does that to you, it does something to you because it's like, girl, you know how this would feel and you chose to do this to me. And for her to have that much, she was really trying to defend herself up there. Amanda, you looked insane. And girl, you can't, I don't know how you're going to come back from this, girl. You looked so so just rude and disgusting. Like you really just looked like you didn't care. And I couldn't stand her attitude the whole episode. And like people are saying how like some people are saying, not a lot, but some are saying that Sierra was mean. Sierra was not as nearly as mean as she should have been, to be honest with you. Sierra and Mia and Lindsay, they kept it classy. They were just telling her how she is. How it was looking, that's exactly how they were giving it to her. They weren't saying anything that was a lie. And I loved Mia because Mia literally was concerned. Mia was like, Amanda, why are you doing this? Like, this is so unnecessary. She said, Amanda, this is unnecessary. Like, there's no reason. There's nothing you will gain from doing in this situation. Like, what are you doing? And I just couldn't understand. And like to see how everybody was affected by this. And Wes had the nerve to be like, I didn't reach out to everybody because I didn't think they'd be affected by it. Everybody was affected by it. Everybody was pulled into it. And they had no class to even text Bailey, Levi, Ben, or KJ. Like it was just insane to me how they're just moving like they run the world. I really truly love seeing KJ, Sierra, and Mia's relationship form and how deep of a friendship they had. But the story KJ said was very sad, and to see that KJ went through that mental space hurts me, but it makes me so happy that he had Mia and Sierra there with him the entire part of that journey because nobody should feel that way. And I don't know, them three, they're my day ones. And to see KJ be like, Sierra, I'm so proud of you. You're very humble. You work so hard. You deserve the world. Like, she does deserve the world. And to see Mia talk about her mom and how losing her parent has affected her. I love those three. And I don't know if Sierra's going to come back, but I hope those three come back and they center the show around them. I truly, truly love their friendship. Also, like, them all collectively saying how Amanda has no friends was the joke of the century. That was absolutely hilarious. They're all like, girl, who are your friends? Katie DeLuca? Like, the fact that they all can name her too, like, that's the only friend you have. And the friends that you did have, you lost because of this. Like, it's insane to me how she was trying to play off the fact of like her and West didn't do anything and like the timeline. They're so focused on the timeline. We don't care about the timeline at the end of the day. Yes, we want to know, but at the end of the day, it's the things you decided to do and chose to do continuously over and over and over again. And you think we're stupid. Like that's what also I can't say. They think the audience is dumb. You really want us to believe that you and West didn't get intimate until after you put out the statement? Are we crazy? Because even though, babe, even if that did happen, it makes y'all seem worse. Because it's like, y'all were like, all right, we discussed it, now let's get it on. Like, that's crazy how they thought that that was okay, or that was a thing they could back up. Like, they lost their minds. And Wes was sitting there barely saying anything. Were we surprised? No. We knew he wasn't going to say anything. He hasn't said a word. He hasn't backed up Amanda. Amanda's been getting eaten alive this first part of the reunion, and Wes has just been sitting there and just letting her take it. And my favorite part of the reunion was literally when, at the end, Sierra was like, you know what? They might work out because Amanda is weak. She's mute. She lets the men be the center of the relationship, be the main character relationship, and that's exactly the kind of girl that would be in a relationship with Wes. And to see Amanda cry like that, it's because, which people will say to me, but I think it's just like that's the only point where Amanda cried, and that's because when you take somebody's own insecurities, that's how Amanda thinks of herself. Amanda's not a confident person. And when you take someone's insecurities and throw them back at their face to let them know that you're insecure about this, and not only do I see it, everybody has seen it, we've all seen it for years, and throw it back in their faces, yeah, it does hurt. That's the only reason why she cried, was because it was something personal about her that was true. And then to have Kyle, love Kyle, but then to have Kyle be like, like that one was a little harsh. And Sierra was like, that's your wife, not mine. Love her. She's killing this reunion so far. And I can't wait for part two. And I can't wait for part three. Because I know and because I know Sierra is going to kill it, because I know Sierra is going to kill it even further. And we're going to hear more lies from Amanda and Wes. but it's not looking good for them. And to have them run away to Rome, like, oh, y'all are scared. Y'all are so scared and so ridiculous. And like, this whole thing is insane. But I'm so ready for part two. And I'm so ready for part three. And I'm excited to get into it. I'm just so excited. But also, again, something that's so separate from Bravo. Love Island comes back on Tuesday. I'm so excited. By the time this episode comes out, Love Island will be out tomorrow, the next day. I'm so excited. The cast, they revealed the cast, and let's just say people are already coming for them. So we'll see how this season's gonna go. I'm gonna break down everything on my TikTok and my social media. So guys, please follow me on all of those things to keep track of all of it, because I'm going to be doing Love Island recaps on my TikTok and then also doing them on here. So keep informed, keep track. I'm so excited. The reality TV world is getting good and I'm so excited for it. But yeah, guys, that's it for the episode. I love you guys all truly. Thank you guys for watching again this week, and I'll see you guys again on the next episode. Pieces and blessings. Bye.